All right, so recall the sequence of steps that we need to do to deploy this on the Sepolia blockchain, right? So the first thing that we need to have is test ether. Those test ether should be available on our MetaMask wallet. Then the contract that we have in the Remix IDE using injected Web3 provider, we deploy it on the Sepolia test network. And then the tokens that we have deployed, we simply import them in our MetaMask. So we're going to repeat the same sequence of steps, but this time we are going to repeat the sequence of step for the Open Zeppelin smart contract that we have just deployed. All right, so going back to our Open Zeppelin smart contract. So this is my code for the Open Zeppelin smart contract. And let me just close all the other files so it does not cause any confusion. All right, so this is our code for the Open Zeppelin smart contract. And over here, if you remember, now I'm going to select injected provider, which is my MetaMask. And the moment I do that, since MetaMask is already connected, you can see that it quickly brings up my previous account, which I had used when we were doing the basics and the intermediate series of this whole course, which was 0x55D. So this was the same account that I used, and I got some test ether in that account. Recall how we did that using the Sepolia testnet faucet. So we've done all these steps in our previous videos. So I'm essentially just repeating them now for this Open Zeppelin smart contract. So if you haven't watched those videos, please make sure that you go from the basics into the intermediate and then you come on to the advanced course. All right, so injected MetaMask, I selected this, and once again, this automatically picked up my account for that was in MetaMask, and let's quickly verify it as well. So I'm going to open up MetaMask. And inside MetaMask, you can see that this is my account, which is 0x55D. And this is the test ETH that I have in this account. So this is 0.4982. And you can see the same amount over here as well. So this confirms that my MetaMask is now connected with my Remix IDE. So my wallet is now connected with my Remix IDE. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm now deploying this on the Sepolia test network. How do I know it's on the Sepolia? It's going on the Sepolia test network because my MetaMask is connected to Sepolia. So that confirms me that this whole contract that I'm deploying, the ERC, the Open Zeppelin ERC20 smart contract, is essentially going on the network that is selected in my MetaMask. If I select any other network, that's where then this contract will go. So since I've selected Sepolia, that's where this contract will be deployed. So if you have access cash, you can obviously buy some ether from the Ethereum mainnet, and obviously you got to pay dollars for it. And then you can also deploy your ERC20 contract on the Ethereum mainnet. Now, since I'm not doing it at the moment, I'm simply just deploying it on a testnet. That's why I have selected Sepolia. So coming back over here, I'm now going to deploy the smart contract. So to deploy it, I will give it some initial supply of tokens. So this time I will give it an initial supply of 18 zeros, and we'll talk about this in a short moment, and I will hit deploy. Now, the moment I hit deploy, you can see that MetaMask pops up again, and it's asking me for the gas fees that I will need to pay to the Ethereum miners for this to be deployed. So I will accept the gas fee and I will hit confirm. And the moment I hit confirm, the transaction starts to execute. Now, let's just go back to our MetaMask and see what's happening with this transaction. So you can see that I've just fired up this transaction March 26, 2024, and this is pending at the moment. And these are all my previous transactions. So the transactions that I fired yesterday on March 25th, and MetaMask pretty much has a history of that. Now you can see while I was talking, this transaction now stands confirmed, which basically means that my ERC20 contract that I had written and copied from Open Zeppelin is now deployed on the Sepolia blockchain. You can also see the same message notification coming back on my Remix IDE pretty much at the same time. Now, if I click on this, it will basically show me the status. I can actually go on the ETH Explorer for Sepolia and see my smart contract deployed there. I can obviously copy the transaction ID, and it gives me some more details of what happened inside that transaction in terms of gas fee, block, priority, and everything else. Now, let's just keep it simple for now. So I will click on View on Blockchain Explorer. And you see, it's basically opened up my transaction. And it tells you over here on the top that this is a Sepolia testnet transaction only, which essentially means this is not deployed on the Ethereum mainnet. It's on the Sepolia testnet. This is my transaction hash. The status shows that the transaction was a success, tells me the block number. Obviously, this was deployed 1 minute ago on the 26th of March, and that's my local time at the moment. And yeah, this pretty much tells you a lot about what happened with this transaction. This is the same address that was on my MetaMask, the address that I used to deploy this smart contract for ERC20. This is the address of where my ERC20 token is. So this is where my contract address is. So this is great, guys. You have now taken an Open Zeppelin ERC20 contract. You've simply copied the code. You've changed your token name. You've given it an initial supply, and you've deployed it on the Sepolia testnet. This is how quickly and smartly you can get already battle tested code from Open Zeppelin and then use it to your requirements and then essentially deploy it. So in a production environment, obviously you would make some changes. You would have some business logic. You would obviously have a token economics model around it. So it's not as simple as you just copy the code and you put it to production and you can start using it. But the whole idea of explaining this is that this is how you consume the standards, and then you build on top of the standards. So I hope that was clear to you. And let's now in the next lesson import these BLK tokens in our MetaMask. We'll pretty much repeat the same process, but now this time from the Sepolia testnet, and see how that comes into action.